Hello, I'm Granville Emerson, and welcome to Lidline News with my co-host, Seattle sports enthusiast, Renault Bean. Call him Pepe. What's up, Pep?
Hey.
Oh, man. Just getting over with this WIAA state playoffs. It was a great week down at the Tacoma Dome. New format where they ranked teams this year and then seeded teams according to their rankings. We talked a little bit about how crazy the rankings were, but I think it all panned out.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you would know better than anyone.
Well, on the 3A side, Nathan Hale won, and that was almost a foregone conclusion. But the teams that got to the Final Four probably are the teams that should have got to the Final Four.
I think West Seattle was a nice surprise to see them there. Since, since they're they haven't been there since 1970.
Yeah, it's been a while. But they have a great point guard in Nate Pryor, who is a maestro with the basketball and kind of controlled the games that West Seattle played. And regardless of the competition, they were in every game they played.
Yes.
As a tribute to him, he made everybody on his team better. Kudos to them for their third place.
Yeah, third place. They beat Lincoln of Tacoma, who had been undefeated before they ran into Hale and now West Seattle.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about more of that, the WIA championships at the Tacoma Dome, later in the broadcast. A coup is brewing in Lakerland.
Oh, no.
What's going on? Jimmy and Johnny Buss are trying to overthrow Jenny Buss, who is the president of the Lakers organization, because she ousted Jimmy and put in Magic.
Yeah. It looks like that relationship is more contentious than we actually had thought.
Continuous and contentious.
Yes. Making up words, I guess I am. Sorry. But anyway. Yes, it does. Anyway, attorneys for Jeannie Buss sought a temporary restraining order because they did that on Friday to prevent the brothers from holding a meeting next week to elect a new board of directors for the team. But the court said they cannot do that without the controlling owner, so also be the director, according to the organizational rules. Excuse me.
The organizational rules say that they cannot put up a new board.
Yeah, they just can't hold. They just can't call it a quick impromptu meeting and oust her and just not even invite her in.
Right. They can't have a vote for a new board without her. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Her lawyers say that it's basically a weak case that the Buss brothers are trying to mount, and it will not come to any avail. We will see in the continuing saga of LaLa Land, Laker style.
And there's a lot of Laker fans out there, I'm sure, interested in that.
Hey, there are Laker fans. I'm a Laker fan. The Lakers are my squad. So I'm hoping that Jenny Buss prevails and that Jimmy Buss can no longer mess up the Lakers franchise. I don't know where in the heck Johnny Buss came from.
Yeah.
And Jenny's like, Jimmy, Johnny, Ricky, and Mike, I got the Lakers. I don't care what you like.
Oh, man.
OJ is set to be released from lockup soon.
Man. Well, he's been in a while. A lot of people don't realize that he was actually paroled back in 2013. He's had, I don't remember exactly how many counts, but several counts have already been, he's already been paroled on several counts. So now this last one possibly will be done in July, and he can possibly be released October 3rd at the earliest.
Yeah, the question is when he gets out, will he know what to do with himself and not get back in? That is the question with Orenthal James Simpson. What is he going to do once he gets out of prison? He's coming out with millions of dollars, though.
Absolutely. He's still got that NFL pension he gets to collect.
Yes, he's got a lot of money to play with, and when he gets out, he'll probably end up on the golf course.
Yes.
Golfing his life away, hopefully in quiet anonymity.
And it looks like he likes the prison food.
Well,
if you've seen pictures lately, it's like, okay.
Well, OJ might be getting special treatment in prison, so you...
What?
he might be eating steak and lobster in prison. So I don't know what's going on with that. You know he's getting preparation.
Well, he's eating.
Treatment.
That's all I'm saying.
The documentary, OJ, produced by ESPN, OJ Made in America, won an Oscar at the Academy Awards last weekend.
Well, kudos to ESPN. Their documentaries are, wow. They're second to none.
Yeah.
Them and HBO do outstanding work on documentaries.
Yeah. It was a strong documentary category.
Right.
I mean, it had 13th in there from Ava DuVernay. It had I'm Not Your Negro in that category.
Which I did see.
About James Baldwin. Great movie. Go see it. Get Netflix and see 13th if you haven't seen that. That's an excellent movie. It was a strong category. But you had to give it to the OJ movie. I mean, it's a 7-hour documentary.
Yes.
I mean, they went in depth. It was political. It was social. It was sports related. I was just amazed by it. I DVR'd it and just binge watched all 5 episodes. And for me, who lived during that whole time in LA with the OJ murder of his ex-wife Nicole Simpson, it always just takes me back to that time. Anytime I see anything about OJ, I was actually interviewed by NBC Nightly News regarding the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and what I thought.
Wow, that's strong.
Yeah, I have been searching YouTube trying to find it, and I've only found it in the Vanderbilt library.
Whoa.
So you all, there's a student listening to this at Vanderbilt Library. Get the video, copy it, and send it to me. Hit me up at Lidline Sports at yahoo.com, and I'll give you my contact information. I'd love to have that.
Yeah.
Post that.
I mean, that was some time. I mean, a lot of us still remember that very vividly. I was living back east, and I was working at Comcast at the time and working in the office, and they had TVs, all over the place, and that trial was on every single day.
Trial of the century.
Man, that's for real. I mean, we hear that a lot, but that definitely is, trial of the century, for sure.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
It will live on in infamy and in eternity.
Right.
Speaking of infamy, your guy is becoming more emphasis. It's that kind of day. I'm talking about Lonzo Ball's dad,
Lavar. Oh, man.
He just keeps talking.
Yes. He keeps talking. Now he says that he wants Lonzo only to play for the Lakers. And he says and that's not unprecedented. I mean, we've had people that have said that. I mean, I'm talking about fathers, the Mannings, the Elways, that kind of deal, said they're not going to play for a certain team. So this is not new territory.
For those of you who missed it, LaVar Ball, the infamous LaVar Ball, said that his son Lonzo Ball, the star freshman point guard for the UCLA Bruins, would not play for any team but my Los Angeles Lakers. And then the press went off on him, and then he walked back the statement and said that he would like for Lonzo Ball to play for the Lakers, but he'd be happy to play for any NBA team. why do you think Jack Elway can get away with it with John Elway, but LaVar Ball can't get away with it with Lonzo Ball? Nobody said that Jack Elway was crazy when he said that John Elway wasn't going to play for the Baltimore Colts.
Well, this NFL and NBA are a little bit different, as we know.
I'm not talking about the leagues. I'm talking about the press.
No, I got you. John Elway was definitely the number one pick. So they have leverage. When you're the number one pick, you have leverage as to where you want to go. When you're Lonzo Ball, you don't have that leverage because there's no guarantee you're going to be a number one overall pick.
So that's kind of my point in the whole thing. LaVar Ball, people are calling him crazy, but I don't think he's not. Because what he's trying to do is leverage his son's weight in the draft.
Absolutely.
He's gone on record by saying that his son is better right now than Stephen Curry. He said, take Stephen Curry off the Warriors, put him on the UCLA Bruins, take Lonzo Ball off the Bruins and put him on the Warriors, and Lonzo Ball will be better on the Warriors than Stephen Curry would be on the UCLA Bruins.
That's insane to me. That way of thinking is a little bit crazy.
That's called marketing.
Yes.
He's creating a name for his son. He has people talking about his son. And he already has created his son's own brand.
Right.
In the interview, ESPN interview, he has on the Lonzo Ball baseball cap.
And so it begins.
Right.
So so what you're saying in retrospect that he's pretty much a genius, or he has people that are doing the marketing or the suggesting of what to do.
He has a gregarious personality.
Right. And he's using it to his advantage.
Yes, because we played against Chino Hills 2 years ago in Palm Springs. I was made aware of LaVar Ball and his personality and how his personality has dominated his kids' basketball lives. They say in high school he was coaching the team from the stands. Okay? What he wanted is what happened. Mm-hmm. Okay? So this is nothing new to Lonzo.
Right.
Okay, that's why Lonzo's not been out of shape behind him.
Right, I haven't heard anything negative that he has said, or he hasn't said, "Oh, Dad, be quiet," nothing like that.
His dad has always done that.
Right.
His dad has always talked up his kids. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so, like I said on the previous show, I just think he's taken a page out of Richard Williams' playbook. Serena and Venus's dad.
Right.
Who did the same thing.
And look where they are.
Right? They had to have talent for sure.
Absolutely.
But he saw the talent in them. He knew the sport of tennis. And he knew that once their daughters got a chance, they would dominate the sport.
Yeah, he was pretty much groundbreaking in that aspect.
Right.
Because you didn't see that for tennis, especially not for blacks.
No, not at all. And they said that he was crazy.
Yes.
Right?
But now we're finding out that he's not.
We'll probably find out that LaVar Burton is not crazy too.
Yeah, they're probably a little smarter than we realize.
I cracked up when I heard some people in the news saying that LaVar, did I call him LaVar Burton? LaVar Ball. I don't know if I did or not. LaVar Ball is hurting Lonzo Ball's draft stock. That's crazy.
No, it looks like he's enhancing it.
No team is drafting a player's dad.
No.
Right?
No.
If you got mad skills and you are projected to be in the top 3 picks, you're going to be a top 3 pick. So what LaVar Ball has done is he's brought a whole lot of attention greater than would have been gotten for Lonzo Ball by making outrageous statements.
Right.
Right? But his son has played better.
He's been brilliant.
Since he's been making those statements.
Yeah.
He has been brilliant.
Yes.
I mean, and
UCLA's in what, top 3 now?
Last night he had 14 assists. in a win over Washington State on senior night. Probably could have had more if Steve Alford wasn't stinking it up.
Yeah, and he,
is that his name? What's his son? Is that
Bryce?
Bryce Alford. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve's the dad, the coach. Yeah. So, hey, I'm just waiting to see what happens and what team he goes to. But in the interim, the college basketball playoffs conference championships begin this week, and that will be on the menu. But before we get to that, I cannot get to college basketball without a little bit of college football, kind of like, not really, but those dudes that are in between, like just got out of college and trying to make it to the NFL. NFL Combine.
The Combine
was this week, and your guy, you've talked him up all season.
Yes, I have.
John Ross.
I love the guy.
Ran a 4.22 at the Combine.
That's crazy. It set a record. He beat, was that Chris Johnson's 4.24? That's blazing.
Blazing.
And and people got to understand, there's a difference between game speed, combine speed, and because the game speed, you got equipment on, and that stuff, weighs you down a little bit. So if you can blaze like that, you're just fast. It's just amazing. He can turn on a dime. He can stop on a dime. He can make you miss. He's got good hands. It looks like he runs good routes. We'll see when he gets to the pros, because there's definitely a difference between running a pro route and running a route in college. But to me, John Ross is the real deal.
John Ross, we all knew he was fast.
Well, Snoop said he was fast because Snoop had him in Pop Warner.
Right. For Chino Hills Raiders.
Well, we can't get away from Chino Hills, can we?
Chino Hills Raiders. That's Snoop Dogg's Pop Warner squad. I was living in L.A. at the time when he started that, so props to Snoops for giving kids
definitely
the opportunity to play sports. But John Ross is a phenomenal wide receiver. I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes in the draft and what team he goes to.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for the Steelers to get him. I know it's probably not possible, but one can dream.
The running backs at the Combine were kind of shady.
Yeah, and there's a video, I don't know if you saw it, about Chris McCaffrey. He couldn't even bench 225 10 times. He was struggling mightily.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I don't know how that translates into him getting the handoff and making cuts and getting loose, but regardless, well, I guess,
I don't know.
Who knows?
I mean, maybe the football weighs what? I don't know how much football weighs. 9 pounds unless Brady deflates it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much football weighs. I know it doesn't weigh as much as he couldn't bench.
That's for sure.
So he's not playing a position where he has to push anybody off him. No. He's not going to be blocking.
Not at all.
Probably, if he does, he'll just be trying to get in the way. But so I don't know if that translates. But he did have the best combine of any running back. They said that Leonard Fournette had a good combine too, but he only ran like a almost 6.
Well, they said he was a little heavy.
Yeah, he was like, 12, 20 pounds over?
Yeah. So, that gumbo and jambalaya and, etouffee down there in Louisiana can get you there.
Hey, that's no lie, because I'm going to Nolans, to the Big Easy, next month, and I got to start my diet now, because I know I'm going to be doing some eating. I am convinced. The food is so good in Louisiana, you can get a bomb po' boy sandwich at the gas station.
Yes. It's ridiculous.
Like that commercial where they say, don't buy gas station sushi.
Right.
You can buy some gas station Cajun food down in New Orleans. Yeah. And I'm going down there next month to get busy with it.
Well, I'm pretty spoiled because my mother was from New Orleans. So,
yeah, well, you grew up on it.
Yeah.
Was you a fat kid?
I was not.
You was not.
I was not. Man. Became fat kind of in the middle of adulthood, but now I'm pretty fit. So
now you're pretty fit.
Pretty fit.
Okay.
For 56, I'm pretty doggone fit. Yes.
Ah, yeah, you are pretty fit. You wearing a kid's large.
The dreaded smedium.
Smedium. Yeah. So the NFL Combine went off. The biggest news once again was John Ross running the 4.22. The running back situation has been talked about.
Any quarterbacks of note?
I don't get it. I don't get how they keep trying to say that the kid from North Carolina, Trubisky, is so great. And you know what it reminds me of? Like every time I turn on ESPN and they're talking about quarterbacks in the draft, it's Mitch Trubisky from North Carolina, and all my mind says is Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
It's the same freaking height.
Same guy.
I'm just saying. Right? They're like, Marv, oh, look at his deep ball. Look at the tightness of his spiral. Oh, no. Look at his size. I'm like,
are you kidding me?
The dude had played like, what, maybe a half a year, a year at North Carolina. And he's now the number one quarterback projected to be picked in the draft.
Yes.
Hey, Mitch, you might come out and be a great quarterback, or you just might come out to be a Mitch.
Jared Goff.
But
I mean,
well, same thing because Jared Goff. I was, you know how Facebook.
He was better in college than this guy.
You know how Facebook gives you your Facebook reminders of stuff you posted in the past.
Yes.
A while ago, my Facebook reminded me that Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in one game, and I'm like, how is this dude the number one picked in the NFL draft? But back when he was at Cal, he threw 5 picks in one game.
I remember that, yes.
And they still picked him.
Yep.
Los Angeles Ramskis. See what they're going to do.
They're going back to their old uniforms, too, from back in the 70s.
Oh, they are?
The color scheme, yeah, the white.
The retro look?
Yeah. They're trying to do something.
Well, they need to do more than that. They better get some players to go in those uniforms.
Right,
Well, they will
LA went from 0 team to 2 teams and still not in the playoffs.
Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. And they won't have any fans if they don't win. That's the other side of that thing, too. Because it was 20 years of no NFL in LA and nobody really cared because you got every game on TV.
Right.
Right? So, like, moving back to Seattle, sometimes we only have one game. I'm like, where's all the games? But in LA, you got both channels. Who's ever showing a game, you got a game because there's no blackout.
Yeah, if you're a fan in the city and you don't have a particular team, you get it good. Because you get games galore.
To the NBA. KD. Out. 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Minimum.
Yes, that's a fact.
I heard that this morning that it's 4 weeks. Before it was indefinitely.
Well, they always say indefinitely because they don't want to give a timetable. Because, for one thing, he suffered two injuries. He suffered MCL, which is medial collateral ligament damage, and he suffered a bone bruise. Now, the bone bruise is the worst of the two.
Especially as skinny as Durant is.
Right.
He's all bones.
So the MCL, people may not realize, the knee has 4 major ligaments. It's got the anterior cruciate ligament, the posterior cruciate, the medial collateral, and the lateral collateral. What the medial collateral does is keep the knee from moving like a windshield wiper. So it keeps it steady. So, and it's also, these particular strains get graded. He's got a grade 2 strain. A grade 1 would be like inflammation, and it's really not that serious. A grade 2 is subjective because you could have 10 doctors tell you that by looking at the x-rays that it's going to be a grade 3, and some will say it's a grade 2. So that's pretty subjective in that. So the sprain, it varies. Like I said, it varies by a degree, and you can't. The thing about it is that MRI was just invented basically in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't even know that a bone bruise was even possible until they found out through an MRI.
That you could bruise a bone?
Yes, they didn't know that.
When I hit my knee against my shin against the
Right.
coffee table, I know my bone is bruised.
Well, I'm just going by what Dr. Nick Gross said.
Okay, Nick.
Yeah. So...
Nick, you trying to sell books with that nonsense? Bone bruise was invented in
Well,
the
he says,
1990s.
you can't see a bone bruise on an X-ray.
Okay,
You have to go through
okay.
an MRI,
All right,
and
I
that's
agree
where you
with that.
actually see the swelling.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful because what happens is if you have a bone bruise, it can turn into a fracture. So you have to be cautious of that. So the main thing is it takes 4 to 6 weeks for the bone bruise to heal. Plus, he's got the MCL damage as well. So you're looking probably rest of the season, which has, 6 to 8 weeks left. And then probably maybe even the beginning of the playoffs that he's going to be out. That's what it looks like.
So what's that going to mean to Golden State?
Well,
Will they still finish number 1 seed in the West?
oh, yeah.
They got that unlocked?
Yeah, they have that on lock, for sure. I mean,
San Antonio can't catch them?
They could. They could possibly catch them, but I think Golden State will still get that number 1 seed. I mean, listen, last year and the year before they didn't have KD, and they secured number 1 seed. So and Matt Barnes is coming back to.
But they had Maurice Spates.
Right.
Get more buckets.
Yeah, true.
And more buckets, get buckets for them. So and then they got rid of all their depth to sign KD too. So I don't know. We will have to watch that one.
Yeah.
What about Washington Wizards? They got the best record in the East the past 25 games.
Yeah, 12, 13 games over 500 now, and they've played probably as well as they've played in years.
Arguably the best backcourt in the league with John Wall and what was the other dude?
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal, yeah.
Oh,
Arguably
yeah.
the best.
Well, of course it's subjective and arguable, but
Who are the contenders? Backcourt duos.
Backcourt duos. Well, yeah. Well, that's a good question. Butler and Wade.
Butler and Wade.
You got Isaiah and Avery.
Avery just got back from injury.
Right.
Avery Bradley.
He's always, unfortunately for him, it seems like he's always got something.
Yeah. He plays hard.
He does.
Dudes play hard to get injured. And so I'm just to segue. I mean, I'm not segueing, but Russell Westbrook. It's amazing that he's not injured more often the way he plays.
Yeah.
But so backcourt duos, we got Wall and Beal, we got Thomas and Bradley, we got Butler and Wade. Who else? Who else?
Yeah.
Yeah, so arguably they're the best backcourt
for
duo
sure.
in the NBA. Go ahead and give your comment on who you think is the best backcourt duo in the NBA. Hit us up on Facebook or send us an email to lidlinesports@yahoo.com. And also, you might want to give us your opinion on this nonsense about dudes wanting to play for LeBron and not for Kobe. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
What? People just come up with stuff to create controversy, right?
Definitely.
Because we're like talking like apples and watermelons, right?
Right.
Who wouldn't want to come to play for LeBron when he's winning championships or going to championships every year?
Right.
When Kobe was winning championships or going to championships every year, people wanted to go play with Kobe.
Yeah.
Right?
Why wouldn't you?
And why would you want to go play with Kobe when they were garbage? That's what happened. So that's not an indictment on Kobe. That's just people don't want to go play for losers.
Hating.
If you got a choice, some people have a clause in their contract where they say, I will only tell you if the trade is okay.
Right.
Because I don't want to go to a loser. You can trade me to a winner, but I'm not going to a loser.
No
so
trade
they put
clause
that no trade
or amended
right of first refusal
mm-hmm.
In the contract. Now that LeBron has acquired Deron Williams and Kyle Korver.
I like Korver.
Oh, I love Korver. I think he's the greatest pickup for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do you know the Cavaliers have 7 first picks on their team?
Amazing. I did see that.
3 more than any other team in the league. They got a squad. They got
LeBron
talent.
Asking for another one?
He still needs a playmaker. If Deron Williams doesn't fit the bill, in his first outing, Deron had 4 points and 4 assists.
Well, he's fat, out of shape. And when your own hometown don't want you.
Yeah, Dallas let him go.
I
I thought there was more contract than anything, though. Maybe he still has something left in the tank.
Yeah, food. Because he's fat. Have you seen him? Man.
Oh, man, he's big. But
he is nowhere. He's a shadow of what he was when he was with the Nets and the Jazz.
Is Dallas his hometown?
Yeah, he's from Dallas.
So he was getting that home cooked.
Well, he was getting it.
Home cooked meals.
He was getting a little thick when he was with the Nets.
So it got intensified.
Yeah,
home.
absolutely.
Well, I know since I moved back to Seattle and my mama's cooking, I done put on too many, so I left LA at 185. I'm like, man.
Well, I ain't gonna hate on that,
man,
because you can't.
I ain't hating either because my mama gets down.
Right.
She's a chemist in the kitchen.
That's what I'm saying.
So Deron's mom might be doing that too, and then he's with Dirk, and who knows, Dirk's mother-in-law might be giving him a to-go play too.
Is Dirk still playing? Because I haven't heard a thing about him.
But you know how Dirk show up to the game with the to-go plate?
Yes.
His mother-in-law fixes him a meal for every game. She's like, Dirk, you better take that food. You ain't getting out of here without that food, boy. You need your food before the game, Dirk. I don't know if Dirk is. I don't know if he's playing or not. Here's what I do know. I do know that it's time for the college conference championships, and it's time for me to watch college basketball.
Oh yeah. Now this is my personal favorite time.
March Madness, baby.
Oh man, I like it better than the Super Bowl. Sorry. That might be blasphemy.
It lasts longer.
But to me, there's nothing more exciting.
There was nothing more exciting than March Madness, especially now where they have all the games on all the different channels.
Right. And it's like you go to one game and it's like 35 seconds to go, down by 2, and then you go to the next game, almost the same scenario.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, with the advent of the three-point shot, every game nowadays is close.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it, you see a team down by 12, 15 points, you go, in the past, that game's over.
Right.
But now, down 12, 15 points, no.
Oh, yeah, just recently, there was a game, what was it, Kansas and West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia up 14 with 2:58 to go and lose.
Right. Then dudes start draining threes. Gonzaga lost. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
They lost.
Down with the Zags.
They lost to BYU.
Oh, man, I loved it. At home.
Yes.
At home. Now, their conference tournament has already started.
Right.
And so we'll see if they get out of that unscathed. And
St. Mary's is also ranked in the top 25 now.
Yes, they are.
And they are 26-3. So I won't dismiss them.
No, on a neutral court.
Right.
Anything's possible. Come on, Gales. Get busy and knock off those Zags. If not, if they don't lose coming out of their conference tournament, though, they'll probably be a number 1 seed. So it'll probably be number 1 seeds. Will probably be Kansas, Gonzaga, North Carolina, and Villanova.
Right. Right now, they put out the brackets 2 weeks ago. The top 16, and the top 4 at that time was Villanova, Kansas, Baylor, and Gonzaga. So Now looking at the top 25, you got Kansas, Villanova, UCLA now, and Gonzaga, and Carolina's right there on the cuffs.
Yeah.
So anything this week will swing it one way or the other as far as that concerned. And don't dismiss. I know this is crazy, but I like Oregon as a dark horse. For
as a number one seed,
possible. I mean, they're 26-4.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what happens in the Pac-12 tournament.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. They're right there.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA's hot though.
The Pac-12, you might not realize, has 3 teams in the top 7. You got UCLA, Oregon, and Arizona.
The Pac-12 is the second strongest conference right now, so it's not a surprise. Good ball being played in the Pac-12. UCLA is hot, like I said, and they might get the number 1 seed. It's going to be an interesting tournament. I'm looking very much forward to watching a whole lot of basketball.
Yes.
College basketball going forward, for sure. I have to say this. I forgot to mention this, but this was so funny to me. I have a friend. We grew up playing Pop Warner at Rainier Playfield.
Mm-hmm.
He went on to do great things as an NFL executive for the Carolina Panthers and the St. Louis Rams. Tony Softly.
Mr. Softly, yes.
So Tony Softly went to the NFL Combine, and we were talking about the running backs earlier.
Right.
And I can't leave the show without giving this quote. Tony says, and I quote, "I've been coming to the NFS NIC Combine for 23 years. Today's running backs was the worst display of speed ever."
That's strong. Man, ever.
The worst display of speed ever?
Wow.
Ever, T-Soft? Ever? Like even way back when they were wearing, well, they didn't have the combines back when they were wearing leather helmets, but I hope the speed was faster than that, T-Soft. Anyway, man, I enjoy you. Your post and your radio time on another station, KJR in Seattle. WIA state championships were a blast. Had a good time. We smacked the heck out of Timberline the first game, and then we went on to lose 2 after that. We lost to undefeated Lincoln at Tacoma, and then on the final day to a senior-laden Stanwood team that went on to beat Rainier Beach by 1.
Right.
Yesterday. So
no shame in that.
No, it was a lot of talent down there, man. After we lost on Friday, I just sat there and watched all the games going forward. Mm-hmm. And it was just from the 4A games to Union winning by 3, Kentwood winning by 2.
Right.
It was just, man, there was a lot of energy in the building, and it was very well played basketball.
Let me ask you this. I heard about Federal Way's mishap. I think they were either tied or down 2 with 30-some odd seconds to go. Called timeout. Come back from timeout. 6 players walk out on the floor.
Technical.
Yes. Your thoughts on that? I mean, that's perplexing to me.
I mean, things happen.
Right.
And that it happened last night in the championship game with Union. They had 6 players on the floor.
Oh.
So sometimes it's in the communication. The coach might tell you to go in for somebody, and you go in for the wrong person and tell them to go out, and the person that you were supposed to go in for doesn't go out, and that person won't go out either. Then you got 6 people on the floor.
Okay.
So I know in our game, I remember one of our players was sitting on the bench, and our head coach Mike Kelly goes, why didn't you go in the game?
Right. And see, the reason why I asked you that is I didn't want to say that it was the coach. I want people to realize you can't. It's not always the coach.
Sometimes it
Things
is, sometimes
happen.
it's not. I mean, sometimes you
Right.
go. Sometimes
But I wanted you to explain it that way because things happen.
things do happen. Sometimes as a coach, you want to put somebody in the game. Like I'll go like, so for me, I have this thing like if a guy is hot, I won't take him out of the game.
No.
So, or if I know a guy is cold, right, and I'm getting ready to sub for him, but he finally hits a shot, I won't sub for him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to take him out
Right.
after he just finally hit a shot.
Right. He's feeling it.
So if I go John, go in for Ray, and John goes to the scorer's table and Ray hits a shot, I go, John, come back. Or I'll put him in for somebody else.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes you tell a player to go in, but you don't tell them who to go in for because you haven't made your mind up yet. Right? And so if you haven't made your mind up yet and you tell them to go in, and then there's a timeout, and if you don't get all your other players up, if it's a full timeout, and sit your 5 down, you don't know who's going in the game.
Okay. Yeah. That I can see for sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if it's a 30-second timeout and you subbed, you really don't know sometimes in the heat of the moment, like, who's my 5? You've been subbing all game.
Right.
You know? So whenever there's a timeout and I've subbed, I want to go, who's my 5? Before they go out. Because if I don't do that, 6 people might walk out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
So it just happens, and it just happened to them Federal Way where it hurt them and cost them the game.
Right.
So
And they had been defending champions 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, so that's a shame. But, it happens.
Yeah. I didn't see that game. I didn't know what happened. I heard about it just like everybody else, but it's a hard way to go, but things happen. I mean, that's part of the game.
Right.
You win some, you lose some. Like West Seattle. West Seattle lost to Garfield at the buzzer on a Jalen Noel putback. Like, the still photos looks like the ball is still in Jalen's hand by the angle that you see the still photo.
Yeah.
But on a reverse angle, or if you had an underneath angle, does he have space between his fingers and the ball?
Right.
Right?
Who knows?
Who knows? You don't know.
We don't.
All you see is one angle, right? And if the angle is not palm side, which it isn't, it's on the back side of his hand, and the ball is between the camera lens and
his fingers.
You don't know if the ball's touching his fingers or off his fingers.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So
it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
And you can't blame a ref for that, for...
It was bang, bang.
Right.
It was bang, bang. It was like, it reminded me, I swear.
I mean, if you look at it, it looked good. It looked like it counts.
For you old-time Sonic fans, this is exactly how it happened. It's 1978. It's the 7th game in the Coliseum, now known as Key Arena. It's the Washington Bullets at the Seattle Supersonics, and we're thinking the Sonics are going to win, and Mixed Kupchak picks up a loose ball and lays it in, and they win.
I remember that.
Scramble, 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 pick up the ball. That's what Jalen did.
Right, yeah.
Game over. Yeah.
That was a heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker.
Man. That still hurts.
Yeah. That's how West Seattle lost in the 3A semifinals. The other 3A semifinal with Nathan Hale and undefeated Lincoln of Tacoma was a spectacular game. And I mean, P.J. Fuller.
A sophomore, by the way.
Man, that kid put on a show. 29 points.
Yes. 11 of 13.
Slam dunks.
Yeah.
He was doing some amazing stuff. I was like, this kid is getting busy. With all the talk about Michael Porter Jr., it was the P.J. Fuller show in the semifinals.
And he still got 2 more years, folks.
2 more years.
Man.
I like that kid, man. I
liked him last year when he played at Garfield. As a freshman.
Yeah.
Man.
Then the final game, last night, Nathan Hale and Garfield, was unexplainable. It was just Michael Porter.
Yes.
I mean, he was everything.
Well, he's been everything all season, and he is who he is.
He was everything last night.
Dennis Green said it. He is who he thought he is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you get a chance to see the replay on Root Sports, watch it. The kid makes difficult shots look easy. He was 10 of 18 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 17 rebounds.
17.
And 27 points. The most spectacular of 4 of those points was a lob from PJ where he just catches it with one hand out of nowhere and throws it down. And I'm sitting there like, I need to see that again. Where's my remote? I need some instant replay. There's no video scoreboard, no nothing. No. You know how you get used to all that.
Oh, yeah,
right?
you
like,
do.
I need to see that again.
And every time I'm at a live game, I see it. I'm like, can't see it again.
And then a second dunk to cap the game and the championship off.
Off the back.
Little cherry pick, little what's his name?
LaMelo
ball action.
How did I know you was coming up with that one?
Little LaMelo ball action. He got the ball just on the other side of half court near his hoop, threw it off the glass and spiked it. I mean, the ball swished through the rim, like straight down, bang.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon Roy called timeout and ran out on the floor.
That's it.
It was crazy. It's like it's over, game over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now really interested in seeing them go on. Want to give props to the Garfield High School Bulldogs and Ed Haskins for making it to the championship game. I always say I'd rather get to the championship game and lose than not get there at all.
Right.
Any day. And it's just so special. It's just such a tough road.
Yeah. Well,
getting to
Nathan Hill was a
championship.
juggernaut for everybody.
Yeah.
All season. So,
Shout out to my guys, Dejon Davis and Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel, spectacular game in the semi, struggled last night, 3 of 15 from the floor.
Yeah, he just couldn't buy a bucket.
Dejon was 2 of 7.
Garfield only had 2 guys in double figures, and neither of them was Dejon or Jalen. And that's, wow. They're not going to win if that happens, especially not against Hale.
Yeah, that's true. So, until next year, folks, the high school basketball season is over.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's on the college and the NBA.
And spring training.
And spring training. Felix looked good in his first outing.
Who?
Felix.
Oh.
Who? You said spring training.
I thought you said Phoenix. I was like, Phoenix?
You said Felix. King Felix. Felix Hernandez.
Felix. He looks better.
He look better?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he needs to, because if he's not the man, they have no shot.
Well, wishing the Mariners all that. Their motto is whatever it takes. So whatever it takes, Mariners, let's get it done. Let's get it done, Felix. And I know who's been doing whatever it takes to get it done, and that is the University of Washington's Kelsey Plum. Man, that girl is a bad mama jamma.
She is.
You know the thing about women's basketball, I'm not really a big women's basketball fan. I'm not chauvinistic. It's just that it's the skill level that gets me. But if you ever, matter of fact, find a University of Washington game during the women's Pac-12 tournament, or if they should get into the NC2A tournament and watch Kelsey Plum. She's got game.
She had 57 to break Jackie Stiles' all-time NCAA record for women's points. And they needed every single one of those. Because they won, 84-77. And they struggled. But she, people say it's a team game, and it is. But there are times where one person can actually win the game. And she did. I mean, you've seen Jordan do it. I've seen Wilt do it and whatnot. But Kelsey Plum, man.
She has handles. She has a pull-up like a grown man.
Yep. Mid-range.
Mid-range, shoots the three.
Yep.
She got the crossover to her game. I mean,
she got some funk.
Goes. I mean, I can watch her play.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I could watch Kelsey Plum play. And folks, let me tell you how bad this chick is. She needed 53 to break the record, and she got 57.
Right.
Needed 53.
I mean, it's not like they said, okay, get your 50 or whatever. I mean, they figured that she'd get 28, 30, and then do it in the next game.
Yeah.
No. She said, no, I'll just go ahead and do it right now.
And like you said, it wasn't like she was cherry picking. It wasn't like it was a blowout. It was a close game.
Yeah, she's doing it within the flow of the game, and they needed, like I said, they needed every single point she put up.
So the story goes that when the previous coach to Mike Neighbors at the University of Washington was fired, Plum was a freshman.
Right.
And Neighbors was an assistant coach. And did they fire the guy in the middle of the season? Because Neighbors was an interim,
right.
Interim
yes,
coach?
They did. And the thing about it is, I believe I told this story in one of our earlier shows, that when Plum was first got there, it was obvious her talent was there. She was very good. However, her teammates and her, they didn't really connect on the court. I mean, after games, the teammates would go out and eat. She'd walk home alone. And so, she'd do her thing on the court, and then, the teammates, they had a meeting, and her teammates were saying, you need to distribute more, this and that and the other. And she says, okay, I can do that, but you better get me buckets if you want me to distribute it. So they came to an understanding. She understood what they want, and they understand how she's going to be. And what happened? Well, last year they made it to the Final Four for the first time. And now this year, it's going to be hard pressed to do it again. But, I mean, this girl here is just amazing. And she's going to be a top pick in the WNBA draft, obviously. And, now it's going to remain to be seen whether it translates to the WNBA game. And just like any college to pro, there's a step up that you got to make, regardless of what league you're in. So we'll see what happens when she gets to the WNBA.
I think she will. She's 5'8", and I don't think her size matters.
No.
She's not a 5'8" guy playing in the NBA, but it didn't matter to Isaiah Thomas. He's like 5'9".
Right.
So it's a 5'8" woman playing in WNBA who has mad skills like Kelsey Plum. I think that she will do fine. She's a scorer. She knows how to score.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to create her own shot. She can knock down the open three. There's a place for her to play in that league.
Definitely.
And so I was talking about how when Neighbors got the job, Kelsey Plum told Neighbors, if you stay, I stay. So they stayed together and took the University of Washington program to where it is now. And she is the leading scorer in the history of women's college basketball.
Yes, indeed.
That's what's going down in the town.
That's right.
Casey Plum. On behalf of Renault Pepe Bean, I'm Graham Emerson. Thank you for listening to Lidline Sports. You can listen to Lidline Sports on Facebook, YouTube, and find us on Twitter at Lidline Sports. Join us again next week for more great sports talk radio on Lidline Sports. Sports as we see it from just below our lid.